Hi, I'm Chef Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen, and welcome to Heart of the Home. Today we're going to make a delicious salmon chowder. Love doing this recipe because when I typically serve salmon to my clients, I will cut off the belly of the salmon and the tails. We will freeze those until we have enough to make this chowder. So there is absolutely no waste. What we want to start out with is about 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to get that melted. And we're going to turn our heat down just a little bit. And we're going to add some chopped bacon. Once again, Virginia has got some great pork farms, and we're using some Virginia bacon here. And you want to let that bacon kind of render off. It doesn't need to be completely crispy, but you do want it to be a little bit brown. All right, so we've let our bacon render, and it's given us quite a bit of fat. Technically, when you add butter to another fat, you're actually stopping the butter from burning. So that's kind of the reason we have 2 fats in here, and it's done actually quite well. The bacon is great. We don't need it completely crispy, but we did want it a little bit more done than raw. So we're going to leave our fat in our pan. We're going to drain our bacon out. Don't worry, it's coming back. Now we're going to come back and we're going to add our vegetables. And what I have here is, the recipe calls for scallions, pardon me, but I didn't have any, but I did have some leeks. It's kind of a nice little substitute if you're trying to use up everything in your refrigerator. And we're going to go ahead and add that to our fat here. You want to saute the vegetables just to get them soft. It won't take more than about 3 to 5 minutes tops. You're not looking to really caramelize or cook them down. You're just looking to get them a little soft. So now we're going to go ahead and add some few more ingredients. We're going to go ahead and add about 2 cups or so of stock. Actually, I've cut the recipe in half for camera purposes. So your recipe might say 4 cups of stock, and that makes quite a bit of chowder. We're just going to cut this in half. We've got 1. I'm going to go ahead and add a second one. You're not looking to make a soup here. You're looking to make a chowder. Chowder, by definition, always includes potatoes, and that is certainly no exception here. We're going to add the potatoes. We've diced them up. We're using russets, but if you have other potatoes at home, go right ahead and use those as well. Just want to peel them, and you want to dice them in about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Now it's at this point we can do a little salt and pepper, a little seasoning. But I would be hesitant on how much salt to add because of the bacon and the fat that we left in the pan. So I would not add a lot of salt at this point. A little pepper. And now we're going to let this come to a boil till the potatoes are tender. All right, so our potatoes have become nice and tender here. You just want to check them with a fork. And we're going to go ahead now and we're going to add the cooked bacon back in. We're now going to whisk up a little bit of cornstarch with about 1 tablespoon or so of water. Cornstarch is a nice little thickener to use. I'm going to stir in the bacon and the cornstarch. You'll start to notice a little creamy texture at the soup there, at the chowder I should say. And you want to let that go for maybe about 1 minute or 2. Starting to pick up a nice texture here. I'm going to go ahead and add about 1 cup or so of heavy cream. Now, there are ways you could cut this down and make it healthy if you wanted to. You could certainly use a turkey bacon because you are using the butter at the beginning, so you wouldn't have as much fat, but turkey bacon would make it a little healthier. You could also certainly add milk as opposed to heavy cream. Stir that in. Oh, this is starting to smell so good. And now we're going to add about 1 cup or so of corn. Again, kind of a standard for chowders. Buying a frozen vegetable, really, it's fine to do that. What you want to watch for on those labels is your sodium content. That, to me, would be the enemy in cooking, is sodium. But there's no reason not to use fresh corn in the summer when it is in season. Stir that up, and then the last thing we're going to add is our salmon. We have, again, the salmon bits that I have saved from using salmon fillets. Stir that up. And pop the lid on it. We're going to let that go maybe about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and taste this deliciousness. So our salmon chowder has come to a boil, and our salmon has cooked very thoroughly. I've turned the heat off. Just going to stir it around a little. Here is our delicious salmon chowder with potatoes and corn and bacon and onions and celery and garlic. Oh my gosh. Not only is it a delicious recipe, it's a great way to use up leftovers in your refrigerator, particularly salmon bits. And if you've got leeks instead of green onions or vice versa, you can use those interchangeably. And there you have it, a delicious salmon chowder. I'm Chef Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen. Join us next time on Heart of the Home.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com/recipes, as well as on Chef Tammy Brawley's website at greenkitchenrichmond.com.